Welcome back to the channel, guys. This is Heinz, and this will be the first episode of a new podcast I decided to start called SwaySide Connection. This is basically a passion project, and I don't really expect it to get that many views unless you're from Spanaway and you went to high school with us, because basically all I'm doing is trying to reconnect with old high school people that I went to Spanaway Lake with from the late 90s, basically from the mid to late 90s. So, and I'm probably going to focus on my class first, just all the 98ers, everybody that graduated in 98. And our first guest today is, go ahead. You can go ahead and introduce yourself, bro.
James Jackson, what's good?
What's good? So I've been so excited about this because I was talking to actually Jay Thomas last week, and he was like, yeah, he brought up a couple names. He was like, you should hit up Nalder or Tim, and they should start a podcast where they interview people from high school. And I was like, why can't I do that? I'd do that podcast. Like, and so here we are. And so, yeah, it's just SwaySide Connection episode 1. So
Hey, you ever
what?
watch you ever watch the Shake Shake, the Club Shake Shake with Shannon Sharp?
Yes.
You know how he gives everybody like a drink of his liqueur?
Oh, yeah.
Or
I didn't realize he
like
did that.
I don't know if it's a liqueur, like it's a cognac. He has a cognac. He always gives it's his own brand. It's called Le Portier or something. And then he pours two and he gives the guest one and he takes one. They like take a drink before they to start talking.
Oh man, you should. I didn't even get my drink ready. Damn.
I got my little
Okay. You got your drink ready. That's good. Yeah, so this is just super laid back. This is, like I said, this is the first episode. And so we're still trying to figure this out. But basically, I feel like this is just a good way for people that we went to high school with, just to kind of see what we're up to and what we've done or been up to since we've been in high schools, because so many things that was so many years ago, 27 years exactly for us. So yeah, well, catch us up, give me some highlights, anything, and feel free to share whatever, and feel free to not share things that you don't want to share. Just, give me whatever, what you've been up to in this last 27 years. And yeah, man, what's good?
Yeah, man, 27 years is crazy.
Crazy.
I'm 44 now, and I'm finally getting me a little bit of gray. I got like little pieces of some
Well,
gray
I've
here.
been having gray. But I shave everything all the time. So you can't really see the gray. But if I were to grow it out, I'd look way grayer than you in all of the places. Like, I would look way grayer than you. So you're
Yeah.
just catching up to the gray party.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, man, it's crazy. 27 years, like I said, it just sounds so like long ago. Like you're like
Because
catch us up.
it is.
You're like catch us up. What's been going on the last 27 years? That sounds crazy.
I know. That's a
So we
weird question.
Oh, I mean, it is what it is. So like basically we graduated in 98. So in 90, let me see, in 98, what was I doing? Like so from 98, so you know, straight out of high school, that was like my hustler days. The 98, 99, the hey, that sounded like Cash Money from the 99 to the 2000s.
It
Yeah,
was. It is what it is.
yeah, like straight out of high school, those were like my hustling days, man. And then I remember probably like it's crazy. In the 2000s is like when I got my first job. Like after high school, I remember I had a little incident, and then
Where was that at?
What's that?
Your first job? Where was your first job at?
Oh, well, I worked at Papa Murphy's. Me, shout
Okay.
out Chris, shout
Yep.
out Chris Ramsey, shout out Greg Shelton. We all, I think Sarah Dre was probably the one who put us all on to Papa Murphy's. But yeah, me,
Nice.
Greg, and Chris Ramsey all worked at Papa Murphy's. That was like probably like I don't know 17, 16, 17, like 17, 18. So that's like kind of like my first job. But like after that, that's when I went into started doing my hustling thing. And then like I would say I had a little incident, got a little case with that. And I remember like going on the straight and narrow and like going into Pierce. I went to Pierce College in like the early 2000s. And then I remember getting my first job after that was at Anthony's Anthony's Seafood Restaurant. So I worked at Anthony's Seafood Restaurant in the early
Yes,
2000s.
yeah.
Yeah, I worked at Anthony's Seafood Restaurant in the early
Can I just
2000s. So
interrupt you real quick?
yeah,
So one of my favorite things was I remember going to visit you there, and I'm looking at the menu, and I'm looking at the menu, and I was like, "Do you guys have a happy hour?" And you were like, "Man, I'm your happy hour." I was like, "Oh, okay, let's go." And so I thought that was my favorite memories because when you said that, man, I just couldn't stop laughing, and I was like, "Oh, yeah, of course, you're the bartender right now, so
yeah,
yeah, let's go, let's serve them up." So
yeah, man,
that
yeah,
was hilarious. But yeah, go ahead. Yeah, Anthony's. So yeah, I remember you. I remember you being over there. Yeah.
yeah, and that's actually where I met my wife, Catherine Shelton, then Catherine Jackson now. But I remember she was in college and she would come back home and she would come, I started talking to her. Actually, I was going to Pierce and she was going to Pierce, and I would always like kind of just like talk to her, nothing serious. So I would just like say hi and stuff and like just chat it up with her at Pierce. And then she ended up leaving and going to Wazoo. And then I remember when she would come back from Wazoo, her and her cousin would come into Anthony's, and I was a happy hour. But like, I just like come in, visit, I'll give them drinks or whatever. So, that's early 2000s. And then I ended up going to UW. I remember working at Anthony's and transitioning at UW in Tacoma. Uh, Worked there for about, a year or two. And then that's when Spencer Hun came back to Washington. And that was like
Yeah.
2000, 2007.
2010.
Well, for me, it was like 2006, 2007 when he came back. Cause
Sorry, you're right. 2000. Yeah,
and that's
2007,
when I
8.
started doing
Yeah.
AC.
Man, these years are crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm tripping because I remember we did our 10-year and it was like he came back like right around that 10-year
Oh
area.
yeah, yeah.
So 2008. Yeah. So then, yep, you're right.
So yeah, 2007. Cause that's when I started doing the ACN. Basically just like more hustling, like
Yeah. Yeah.
that's like an Amway, like a network
Yeah.
marketing
Yeah.
Amway, and I did that for
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
from 2007 to 2013, and then like in between that time, so like 2008 is like when I started really talking to Catherine, and then I was doing
Mm.
ACN. And so 2008, and when I did that up until like 2013, and then I got with Verizon in 2013, and then I've been with Verizon ever since. So now
Wow.
it's 2005. I've been with Verizon for 12 years. I ended up getting married. Me and Kat ended up getting married in like 2015.
15. 15. Yeah.
Yeah, 2015.
That
Yeah,
was a
you
fun
came.
year.
That I was talking to somebody about that wedding today. That wedding was crazy.
It was. I
It
had
was so.
fun. It was one of my favorite that whole week, to be honest, that whole week. Like impromptu, like man, like we didn't plan your bash like so man, James was kind enough to put me in his line and being part of the whole that week was just a fun week. And then I was it sucked because ironically, the weekend we decided to have your bachelor party was also the same weekend that Taylor Swift happened to be in town. And so it was like impossible to get hotel rooms. We were trying to
Yeah,
party in Seattle and it was just a struggle because getting everybody from your house to Seattle and back, with alcohol involved, it was just kind of messy and I mean, we still figured it out. I mean, I had a good time. I think you had an all right time. I don't know. I can't
the
remember
bachelor
if
party
you
or
did
what?
or not, but yeah, the bachelor party.
Yeah, yeah. A bachelor. I remember. I got kicked out of a club. We ended up seeing Lawyer Malloy right at the club. I remember.
Oh, we did?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Lauren there. I remember like I had like a button down shirt and a white beater under it, and I kept taking off my. Like I was drinking and just getting hot and stuff. And I'm in the club, it's hot in there. I'm taking off my shirt, and they like come up to me. They're like, "Hey, you can't be in here with no shirt. With like no shirt over
That's
your white."
crazy.
And then
Yeah.
I'm like, "Okay,
Yeah.
I'll put it back on." And then 30 minutes later, I take it off again. They're like, all right, you're out of here. They kick me out. I can't remember where we went, but they kicked me out.
I mean, because Tia Lou's, we had a table. Do you remember that? Like we had a
Well, I
booth
remember
and everything, and
we went
we
to like
kind of
two
had
different
semi
places.
VIP, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I remember we went to 2 different places,
Oh, that's right. I think we did go to a couple
maybe
other
3.
places.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I remember seeing Lawyer in one of the spots, and Marshawn Lynch was outside, and yeah, it was.
It would have been outside Tia Lou's. I think that's where you saw Lawyer at. It would have been there because that's where
Yeah,
a lot of Seahawks players used to kick it there all the time. So yeah,
uh-huh.
that was a
So
crazy. Yeah, but that whole week was fun. I mean, I had fun. It was like,
yeah,
and then because yeah, it was just a good time. And your wedding was fun too. It was crazy. All that was good times. So, but
I
yeah,
remember we were at
go
the
ahead.
we were at the Browns Point House, and I remember Jay Nalder coming through with like some expensive bottle or something, and
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
yeah, that
God,
was
I have a video of that. I have Snap. I was heavy in Snapchat back then, so I actually do have some snaps from that. If I can, I should have
fun.
looked those up too before. Yeah, I forgot it was some weird fancy bottle. It came in this crazy box, and then him unboxing it. Like Jay
Yeah,
does everything so
big,
extra,
yeah,
which I love. That he made an event of just opening the box. Not even the bottle yet. Opening the box was an event to Jay. So when he did that, I could not stop laughing, man. I was just like, what is this? Where is
yeah,
this from? Like, how much
Nalder,
did this cost?
Nalder,
Nalder. Yeah,
here,
so
Nalder,
I can't wait to have him on. I
yeah,
hope he comes on, but
yeah.
because we'll revisit all of these.
Well, like I said, another thing I see like a lot of people who have guests on their podcasts or shows, or whatever. They always ask the guests like, well, sometimes they'll be like, so, because the way I see this going on is like this is like a never ending show or podcast because if you have every guest that comes on recommend your next guest, you'll never run out of like people to talk to and just to catch up with. Like literally every person who comes on, you should be like, so, now that we're at the conclusion, who's the next person you'd want to see me interview? And then like if I tell you that person, then that person tells you their person, and that person tells you their person, it'll be a never ending, you know?
Yeah. But like I also, just because we're close friends, this will probably not be the only time you're on either, because I think you might have to come back when like other people come on, right? Because the one question I did ask you before this was, who do you want to see on? Did you want to do this with somebody else? Did you want to have somebody else join us in this
Yeah.
podcast too? And you were like, no, 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 I'm cool. And so I was like, all right.
Yeah.
Because the one problem I do see if you do keep recommending people, I know
Mhm.
there's going to be people I ask that will say no, I can't. I'm not going on YouTube. I don't want to do that yet. Or I feel like, oh yeah, you don't think so? You know what? You think everybody I ask will be down to come on and
Yeah, yeah. Like if I think like
no,
if I recommended somebody, I think that if you hit that person up and was like, okay, man, me and James just did this podcast, and you kind of tell him what you're doing, and then and he recommended you as the next person, I think anybody would be down because, like you said, it's mainly going to be like Spanaway people seeing it. It's not like it's some
yeah,
crazy
true,
talk show like Jimmy Fallon or
yeah,
something. Like
exactly.
I couldn't see anybody turning it down, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have any active beef with anybody. And to be honest, I feel like I'm one of the perfect people to do
Yeah,
this show because I was cool with
yeah,
everybody. Almost every, yeah, I mean, I don't think I do, but I was just cool with so many people that I don't feel like there should be any issues from that.
yeah,
But I do, I just do. I mean, I feel like some people are just going to be bashful. Some people are just like, man, I don't want to do that. And it, not yet at first. Maybe they might come on later.
yeah. We'll
So
see. We'll
because
see.
a lot of people just don't feel comfortable. Yeah, a lot of people don't. Look, I don't feel comfortable. That's why I wear sunglasses when I'm on YouTube. It's just plus when I think I'm like my eyes go everywhere, so it looks like I look crazy when I'm thinking and
Hey,
talking.
it's all
So
good. Like I'm in my
but some people are.
I'm in my house. Like anybody should. Like if you don't feel comfortable inside your own house, have you make a little cocktail and just sit back and
Yeah.
talk to the homie. It's all good.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. I can't wait to do these ones in person too, because I'm super excited to like, yeah, do these in person too, so I could be like Club Shay Shay where you're just having a drink. But you're right. This is so laid back. This is not formal at all. Like we're just out here talking smack and just
Yeah,
reminiscing and catching up and yeah, just kind of figuring out like what people are up to. And yeah, so that's why I do it. So I mean, you think everybody will do it, but if there was a list of people that you think that wouldn't do it, who would be on that list of people that, and let's just keep it to 98. Is there anybody from 98 who you would think would be like, nah, I'm not trying to do that?
man. I really, like I said, it's just so laid back and it's so like, what's that word? Fledgling. You know what that means? Fledgling.
Fledgling.
It's
Feels like
upstart.
fleeting.
No, like upstart. Like it's like infancy stage.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Is
Yeah.
that the right word? Fledgling? This is so. I
Um
mean,
I'll look it
like
up.
two people might see this. This is so new that I really can't see anybody being like, I'm good. Because, like, I mean, who's so, like,
That's my, yeah. Go ahead.
Secret Service that they're like, oh, my job won't allow me to do that. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, that would be the only reason somebody wouldn't go on it if they're like, my job won't allow me to go on there. You know what I mean?
To be
But
on
it's like,
YouTube.
yeah, like, I don't really think it's that serious. I couldn't imagine one person not doing this unless they're like so important that they're like, oh, I can't.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's like they are not allowed. I feel like I think just some people are bashful. That's what I think. And I think you're saying that the peer pressure of having somebody like a James Jackson recommending them, it's hard for them to turn that down. But I feel like as it keeps going on, I don't know, maybe it won't. But my thing is, that's why like I will always ask guests if they want to have somebody else on, because I feel like when it comes to multiple people, they're more likely to do it. So if there's like, if you want to come on with, for example, if let's just take Daniel, for example, maybe he doesn't want to come on by himself, but maybe he'll be down to come on with Tim because they have hella stories
Right.
together and all this stuff. So stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I could see that happening too with
Yeah.
other people.
That'll make it work. So look, you see this fledgling, a person or organization that is immature, inexperienced, or underdeveloped. Did you see that?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
saw the definition.
Coming of age, possible in lateral or symbolic way.
It says a New
Yeah.
York businessman accused of defrauding a fledgling Broadway production has been held without bail. It's like fledgling means like, yeah, just like an immature or inexperienced person. It's like new, like you're
Yeah.
inexperienced. So
I've never heard. I mean, I've heard that word. I didn't realize that's what it meant. And so it was funny because I've been doing hella reading lately. So it's funny the amount of words I have to look up because it's like I didn't realize that's what that meant. So
yeah,
I thought fledgling meant like
a
somebody's
young,
escaping. I
yeah,
didn't realize it means like this is
yeah. It says either a young
uh
bird, or an upstart.
yeah, yeah. That's exactly what this is. This is an upstart. This is the first episode, so
Yeah,
that's
for
why
sure.
it's everything is new. So the
So
best time for people that are bashful to come on is like these first episodes.
yeah, no, it would be crazy if it
Is that what
started.
you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, it would be crazy if it got so big that people really were like, yeah, I mean, when no one's watching, that's the perfect time to come on. But it would be crazy if it got so big that people are like, I'm not going on that. Everybody's going to see me.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just like I said, this is just Spanaway people, but I am putting this on my personal channel. So if my
Yeah,
personal channel, like my personal channel doesn't have that many, they only have like 15 subscribers. So that's why it's like, yeah, this is the early stages. Every video is so different too. Like this is the first 2-person podcast I have on my channel. So it's just so random. And then it's tight. You could put different podcasts on your channel. So like I already have one about books. And then this one, SwaySide Connection is also on there too. So they're
yeah,
both on there. So yeah.
yeah. I see that blowing up though. The sway side, I can see it blowing up for sure. But
Well, I mean, I think for Spanaway people, I feel like
yeah,
other people, I mean, and then maybe if like people that know you, like for example, anybody that maybe know both of us, might check in, but that's not very many people,
man, you know
like,
what's crazy? Somebody could see it and then show somebody, and then before you know it, like you said, a big part of the reason why you were like kind of getting started because you're like, I just think my friends are funny.
yeah, that's probably one of the number one reasons why I wanted to do this is because not only our friend, I think almost everybody that went to Spanaway that we know was hilarious in one way or another.
And then what if people actually think you're right and the world want to be your next Spanaway guest? Like, how crazy would that be? What if you're right and everybody wants to see your funny friends?
Yeah. I mean, that'd be crazy. I mean, I feel like, yeah, I don't know how we could turn that into something, but that's what makes this fun for me. This is just a passion project where we could just sit down, chop it up, talk about, stuff, and then have people see. It's hard because it's like, you've been to play, like you've been known as funny at times since I've known you, right? And the worst is when somebody says, "Hey, be funny now," right? Like it's the worst. It's like
Yeah,
oh, it doesn't work like that. You literally just got to be around me and then wait for me to say stuff. That
those
is
days
funny.
happened to me in high school. I just remember like it's so funny because like when we were at Cedar Crest and I
Yeah.
was fun. I was just like young, immature, full of whatever, and like wow. And then like as I got older and matured and just grew up, I remember people being like, James, be funny, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
like
Exactly.
I'm growing up, and people would be. I remember people telling me like, man, you're changing. I don't like this new you. You're changing. I'm just like, you want me to be a clown my whole life? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Like people grow up.
Yeah, I mean, and then I mean, because I feel like if that was something you wanted to pursue, like Chappelle, or like if you wanted to do stand up or something, then maybe yeah. But no, you didn't want it. That's not what you wanted to do. So it's like that was just a phase, and so
Right. A big part of me being funny was just like immaturity. I was a kid. I
yeah,
was a kid. You know what I mean?
yeah,
You a kid with a sense of humor.
yeah, exactly, exactly. But I mean, I still think you're funny. I think a lot of our friends are still funny in just different ways. We're
Oh
just
no.
older now. We have
Yeah.
older jokes now. We have like dad jokes now because we're,
Yeah.
we're in our 40s now.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm hilarious. It's just do it on
Exactly.
demand.
Yeah. And so that's why I feel like sometimes some of these guests, they won't be able to, or that's why I feel like the viewer will not be able to see a lot of these guests in their element to be their funniest. Cause it's crazy too. Cause some of the funniest people, like, give me some of your top three funniest people that we went to school with. Top three. I mean, like I said, I can name a lot of different people,
Funny. Let me see. I mean,
or top three people that are funny that other people wouldn't consider them funny. How about that?
yeah. I mean, well, Tim Armitage was funny.
Yeah, I mean, he was voted most funniest our senior year, I think,
No,
right?
he wasn't.
He wasn't?
No,
Oh, what was he?
he wasn't funniest because I
Oh,
was.
okay. Oh, you got that senior year?
He was mad.
Wow.
So that's the thing. Like remember he did the
See, I don't remember.
remember the assembly or the pep rally or whatever.
Joust.
No,
Joust.
not no. It was like a Joust was at night. I think
Yes.
this,
Yeah.
this was like an assembly, like a pep rally where he did the jewelers, the jewelers. Remember the jewelers thing he did? Like he did a commercial.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Yep.
It was like a pep rally assembly. It was like middle of the day. It was during school, and
Shane
he was
Company.
yeah, and he was like now a commercial from the Shane Company. So he did that and he slayed them. Like that was hilarious.
It was.
But
It was
but I
spot on.
remember you got to fact check this. If you still have that yearbook of '98, I don't know if you have it for you or anything, but fact check me. I
I
believe
know.
I got, and I remember Tim coming to me and he's like, "This is trash," and I was like, "What?" He's like, I cannot believe you got funniest. And I was like, what you mean? Because you know, like at Cedar Crest, I got funniest seventh, eighth. Because there was no funniest 10th or 11th. In high school, there was only funniest your senior year.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, there was like I said, go back and fact check this, but there was no funniest 10th and 11th, only your senior year. But in junior high, it was 7th, 8th, ninth, and I swept. I got 7th, 8th, ninth, and 12th. I got 7th, 8th, ninth, and 12th. Every year you could get it, I got it. So like I remember Tim coming to me and being like, "Man, that's trash." I was like, "What?"
Wow,
He's like, "You got funniest?" I was like, I mean, come on, man, it's me, right? He's like,
I
"But you
love it.
weren't funny." He's like, "You weren't funny this year."
And he was probably right.
Yeah, no,
It's
that's when I
like
was like growing up and stuff. You know what I mean?
exactly.
That's when he was like coming into his own. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So he was like, I was definitely the funniest, and I was like, hey, I remember like like I said, fact checking, but I remember getting funniest, and he was just like, that's trash, man. I should have got it. And I was just like, you know what, Tim, you're funniest, man.
That's funny because I just thought he had won it that last year, and I didn't.
No,
I
man,
don't know.
because
So that's
my
hilarious.
reputation have preceded me.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
no,
saying?
serious. It does.
And
Yeah,
he said it. He was like, you got that based off of like
years ago. Yeah,
previous
junior
years,
high.
and I'm
Yeah,
like. It's like yeah, it was like a legacy award, like
exactly. It
you
was.
know. But yeah, no, I got it. I got it all 4 out of 4, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 12th. If my memory serves me correct.
Who was this? Who those years? I wonder the people that were our year from Spanaway Junior, right? Because those are the two main feeder junior highs into our
Yeah,
high school. Me and James, we went to Cedar Crest Junior High, and then we have the other half that went to Spanaway Junior High.
yeah,
Like, who was? I wonder who won those years from Spanaway Junior, like those seventh, eighth, ninth. Like, who was
yeah.
the
I don't even know if
funniest
they
of
had
them?
like that.
Yeah,
Like they had stuff,
yeah.
but you know who like people who were funny, like you know they were actually younger. But Tim was funny. Like Chris Ramsey. I don't know if he was always funny when we were younger, but he's hilarious now. Chris Ramsey. Chris Ramsey's hella funny. Greg Sheldon is funny, like in his own way, and Tim Armitage was funny. Like those, the three people I could think of who are like funny to me would be like Greg, Chris Ramsey, and Tim Armitage.
Nice.
And then you know there are other people like you know maybe like a Billy Langdon type, you know people who got
Yep,
their
yeah.
own. But like to me, yeah, Tim Greg, and Chris Ramsey are hella funny to me.
That's
Josh
funny.
O'Brien, Josh O'Brien is funny. He's got like a sarcastic
Yes.
like a weird, sarcastic, funny. But yeah,
Yes.
Joshua.
It's funny. Yeah, I mean, I think for me, I would have like I feel like Corey Alexander was funny.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Like he was just he just had a different I just thought
yeah.
he
He was
was
fun.
same thing. Yeah, yeah. I feel like Jay Thomas was funny. Like
Yeah,
I don't
I
know.
thought
I
Jay was.
think I just have these are maybe it's just people I have inside jokes with too, you know?
Yeah,
So it's and then I never really thought Billy was funny in high school, you know. I think
yeah.
he's hilarious. I think he's funny
Now,
now. Yeah.
yeah.
and it's funny because I talked about him in one of my videos, but it's funny because
Hmm.
I used to think he was annoying, and then I just didn't think he was funny, but like I think he's hilarious now. And then who else is like a surprisingly funny person that is just like
What about
hilarious?
Robert?
Where
Was Robert? Robert
he's
was crazy.
I think the craziness is like higher on the level of what you think of him.
Yeah,
Or, I mean, which eventually would fall into hilariousness, right? He did funny things, but I
yeah,
just feel like it's
yeah,
because like I would put Nalder in that group too of like
yeah,
just random people that are funny. It's like not,
yeah,
and they're not trying to be funny, but they're
yeah.
so like he's
Funny.
so animated,
Yeah,
crazy, you know. And then Robert does crazy like acts.
yeah.
He has like lots of like viral. He did viral things before viral was a
Was a
thing, right?
word. Yeah,
Right. And so that kind of made him funny. And then just Nalder's personality of like when that dude's excited, man. Yeah,
oh,
that's why I love being around him. It's like when that
yeah,
dude's excited, like perfect example, opening up that box for your bachelor party is like,
yeah,
man, it's like great having somebody with that much energy about be hyped up and excited about something like that. That's exactly who like that type of like. And so all these people are funny, but for like, they're not stand up. They're like,
Right.
their passion for, minutia, or their just the way they operate, or just some of the random things he said. Like, everybody's funny, but it's a different kind of funny.
Well, man, you know what? Stand up is so hard. That's such a different kind of funny. Like,
For
I don't know
sure.
anybody from Spanaway Lake who I could see doing stand up. And what's crazy is I haven't heard of anybody from Spanaway Lake doing stand up. Like, the only
Yeah.
person who I know who did stand up, who does stand up, is Nate Jackson. You know Nate Jackson?
Yeah.
He was
Yep.
from like that Lacey.
Lacey. Yep.
Yeah. I don't know anybody from Tacoma, Lakewood, Spanaway, anybody who does actual real stand up.
Stand up. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
like
Nate does.
yeah, we weren't that kind of funny. We were just Spanaway funny. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
you just
exactly.
got to be from there to know. You got to have that SwaySide connection.
Well, that's what's funny, because I feel like Nate fits into, like, okay, so he's from Lacey, man. He could have easily been from Spanaway. Like, that type of comedy that he does reminds me of, like, that could have been somebody from Spanaway if they took stand up serious.
Seriously.
I think there was somebody that tried to do stand up. I think there was somebody, but I don't know if, I don't think it really, obviously, I don't think it panned out. But yeah, like, I don't, it would have been nice to see, because, like I said, I think we just have a lot of funny people, but they're so funny in their own way. It's like, I feel like a lot of these people would just be funny if they happen to get cast on, like, if half of these people got cast on a reality show, that would have been a perfect time to see how hilarious they are.
Yeah.
Because just the things that they would say, and just the way they would act. And so it's just like, man.
Robert was crazy, man. Like the stuff that he used to do is just like we can't even talk about it. It was just too hot for TV.
Exactly. And that's why I feel like he's just a different, yeah, that's a different category. Everybody is funny in their own different categories, right? And of funny. And so it's some of these people, like, you have to be around, and then you have to witness Robert do some of these.
To
He's good
appreciate
at spectacles, right? He's like, I feel like he's just the master of, like,
spectacle.
just creating a spectacle of
Yeah.
something and doing something that just makes you, wow. Well, Robert really did that, And so,
Yeah.
with Jay, it's like, he really said that thing to, it's like they all have their different types of funny. And so, but speaking of, I think this is a good time I'm going to share this video
What's that?
I saw this on TikTok.
Okay.
Let's see if you could can you see my screen?
I cannot.
Okay.
Hit play and see what happens.
Okay. Can you can you see my screen?
I cannot.
Okay. I'm pushing the wrong button. Hold up. Sorry, technical difficulties. Like I said, this is our first.
For sure.
Okay. There we go.
Would you consider this? Okay. Yep, I see it. I gotta get
Can
a
you
little
see
closer.
that now?
Yep.
I wonder if
You
I
know
can
what?
blow this up. Oh. Can you see this now?
Yeah.
Can you still see it?
Yep.
Okay. What were you going to say?
I've seen this, and then actually my wife and I both saw this, and there's a girl that I'm talking to in this video, and I'm like, who is that girl?
I have no idea.
Do you know
I
who I'm
know
talking
exactly who you're talking about. Yep.
about? I'm like, who
Because
was that?
you're in this video. So first off, this video is wrong. So one of my friends, Annie, she reposted this on TikTok. And so I saw it and I was like, what the hell? And I was like,
Which
hold
Annie?
up. She just moved to the Bay. She's in tech, and I met her in
Is she
Seattle.
from Spanaway?
No, she's not from Spanaway.
Okay.
So she reposted this. She didn't realize that I went to this high school. So I had to hit her up. I was like, hey, that high school, that video you shared? That's my old high school. And she was like, no way. And I was just like, yeah, that's kind of crazy. And I was like, the internet's just crazy. And so yeah, so then I realized, here, I'll just share the video. I'll play it, and then you can give commentary. But I think I'm going to try to pause it because you're in this video a couple times. So that's what reminded me to show you this. So here we go. That's crazy.
There's what's Kanani,
Honey, yeah, yeah.
Rhea, Rhea.
There,
There's
there you are. There you
the
are. Let's see. Let's go back real quick.
young James there.
Young James. Yep. Can I pause this?
Oh yes, is that Rhea? Who's that? Who winked?
I forgot her name. I forgot half the people's names on here.
And that girl right there. Who was that?
I have no idea. I have no idea who
But
that is.
I was like, hey, you
I think
know
she was
what?
a senior
Oh, I'm being yeah.
when
You
we,
know,
because so that's why it's surprising that James is in this video because this is actually 96 year that we were in high school. We graduated in 98. So James is a sophomore and we were sophomores. So I'm not in this video in this is only like a minute clip anyway. And so, but were you trying to figure out who that was?
yeah, because I just like, man, good on you, James. Being a sophomore with a pretty little senior, man. I've been in the game for a long time. You know, like,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
man.
Yes, sir. That's hilarious.
My wife saw this and like, who is that? I'm like, I don't know, but she was cute, and I was obviously macking.
I mean, and you just happen to see I think you're right there at the perfect time to be caught on video. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think, like, this is pre camera phones and stuff. And so, like, these videos are like gold because these are the only clips that we have on video of us in high school. Like, I mean, it must be weird going to high school now where this is constant. You have videos galore,
Yeah,
all the time.
yeah,
So
you
it's
got to
just
be
kind of,
super careful today. Like, I saw something with Carmelo.
yeah. What happened?
His mom, Lala was like, she's like talking about how she was telling her son like, if you have any parties, anybody who comes to your party cannot make sure you collect their phones, have them deposit their phones in a bucket like basket type thing, and then return their phones when they leave because like phones
Wow.
are so
Yep.
dangerous for little
They are.
kids now.
They are.
Like the stuff we were doing at parties and stuff. That stuff would have
Yeah.
been you know what I mean? Like
For sure. For
you
sure.
wouldn't be able to be a politician today,
For sure.
or
For
so
sure.
it's like, yeah, it's crazy. Lala was like, yeah, she was telling her son like when you have parties, and because he's going to Syracuse next year, just like his dad, and she was like, when
Wow.
you have parties, make sure you make everybody turn in their phones. I was like, that's crazy. Like, yeah, it's a different time we live in today.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it would be so different. Yeah. To have all these phones. Like I said, when we were back in the 90s, it would have been because, I mean, I think Tim was like one of the only people that I knew that had a cell phone in high school. I mean, did you
Yeah,
have one? You might have had one too. Did you?
well, I did senior year
Yeah,
because
senior year. I mean,
that
still,
getting
I didn't get
game.
one until much after high school.
What's that girl's name right there? I mean, I remember all these faces. I just can't remember the names.
Okay. Which girl?
Go back.
Go back some more.
Yeah, she's actually one of the girls I was walking with on the first time you see me. I mean, she probably was in like choir or something like that, you know?
Yeah. Because I feel like all those girls were in choir. Those were all choir. Oh, those are all music company.
Yeah.
So that was music company people. And
What is
then
that girl?
tell me when to pause.
Yeah.
And then, oh, yeah, John Tucker, Matt Weathers, Jeff
What's his name? Jeff.
Abbott.
Yeah, but yeah. Right there, her. With Slater.
Yeah. I think she was in choir, wasn't she?
I think so. Yeah, man.
That's why it's funny, like, whenever I see sophomores in these, because I remember not being in this video very much. And I still remember, like, thinking, man, and, in the high school yearbook, I was like, man, I can't wait till I'm a senior. And I was like, man, I'm going to make sure I'm in that video at least once or twice. And
Yeah.
so yeah, when by the time we were seniors, I was like, heck yeah, I was in there. I was in that piece a lot.
Yeah. Is that Regina right there coming out? Yeah, 90.
This thing sucks.
Oh,
I
it's all
just don't
good.
know how to use it.
It's just crazy to see these people.
Yeah. So have you seen this video before?
I
Like,
saw
oh,
it. I've seen it because, like I said, yeah, me and my wife saw it, and she's just like, "Who's that girl you were standing next to?" And I'm like, "I don't know, but she was cute."
Man, what a trip. Okay.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
here, like how everybody was like on that Jodeci TLC, all the girls like dressed baggy, all the dudes baggy.
Every, so many people were wearing flannels, but that's also part of us being in the Northwest where like flannels is just, that's kind of normal. But that was like that, grungy air.
Well, but you know what's so crazy? Because even like Snoop Dogg was rocking the fat flannels, like in
Oh,
Long Beach.
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I remember like Snoop Dogg with the checkered flannels and
Yeah.
in the Dickies. You know what I mean? It's like the flannels were in
That's so true. Actually, I forgot about that.
I remember all the girls dressing like TLC, big baggy clothes, and then all the dudes dressing just like Snoop and Jodeci, just big baggy clothes. And it was really crazy is that it's coming back now. It's like
I know.
it's
I've
like
noticed that.
a cleaner, baggier, but it's
Yeah.
just like the big clothes are coming back, big bell bottom type. Did you see
Yeah.
Kendrick Lamar at the
Yep.
Super Bowl
Super Bowl.
halftime
Yep.
with the kind of bell bottom pants
Yep. Yeah. It's crazy how like, I just feel like a lot of things are sort of,
recycling?
yeah, or people always say like history repeats itself, but I think with fashion, it kind of has to do that, right? I
Yeah,
think that's
there's only so many things you could wear.
that could be different that you could sell. So like you need to keep making new stuff for new people so that you can keep selling stuff. So I just think that's part of the flywheel of fashion where like they got to recycle old stuff and make it cool again. And then it's like
Right.
they already know
I
how
mean,
to make it.
fanny packs came out again within the last 5 years or so.
Oh yeah. Yep. Yep.
You know,
I like I'll wear them now because
yeah.
it's
I mean,
they're
we wore them then.
yeah, yeah, but there it's to me it's like it's convenience, like especially if you're wearing something like basketball shorts where your wallet and phone is not in pockets that are real solid. It's just nice to put everything in a fanny pack and like know it's safe,
Plane
and
or plane ride.
yeah, exactly. So
But yeah, going back to what you were talking about earlier though about just like what I've been up to, like I say after like 2008 or whatever,
my man,
you know.
we
No, no,
rabbit trailed hella.
yeah, it's all good. But man, like I got three boys now. I just had my third son
That's
4 months.
crazy.
Like I said, I got married in 2015.
What are their names and ages?
I got Judah, my
Judah,
oldest. Yeah, he's 6. He was born in 2018. Then I had Jaira, my middle son. He's 3, born in 2021. And then my baby boy.
Jaira,
Yep. And then my baby boy is Jaron, who was
Jared.
born in 2024. So there's 3 years apart, 6, 3, and newborn.
Wow. That
Yeah,
sounds like a handful. Like these ages.
it is, man. I'm tired all the time. Like it's crazy when you have. I don't know how people do it and did it. I don't know how people had like 4, 5, 6 kids. I think I couldn't even imagine. Like most people I know have like 2 kids at
Yeah.
most. Like
Yeah.
when you go to 3 level,
Yeah.
it
It's
is
the next level of chaos.
next level of chaos. And then like to think about people, because I'm done. I'll never have another kid. But to think about people who have 4, 5, 6 kids, I'm like, one, bless that mom to just keep doing it or
Yeah.
keep a
Absolutely.
baby. And two is, oh man, I mean, if you can afford it, it's great to just like because kids are just you talk about like the funny people who grew up in Spanaway, how spontaneous, like you don't know what you'll get from kids, So like the more kids
Yeah.
you have, the more spontaneity you'll have in your house.
Yeah.
Yeah, like just I mean, you hear all this stuff when you're younger, how you become like a taxi. Like my kids are only 6, 3, and 0, and it's like we take one to practice on basketball practice on Monday,
Wow.
or
Yeah.
practice Monday. We got Tuesday one's got clay class. Wednesday one's got rock climbing. Thursday they both got swimming. The older one's got swimming. Friday is like a free day. Saturday you got games, it is just like you got either practice or an extra curricular activity or a game literally like every day of the
Every
week.
day. Every
It's
day. Yeah.
it's crazy. It's crazy. Growing
Yeah.
up is like
I
it's
know
crazy.
it is. Man, that brings up some I mean, that's dope that yeah, that you guys are doing that, that I feel like as us in our age, I feel like, a lot of people our age already have kids that already are adults too, so it's crazy. They're all in between. So like there's people that have like you guys that have a newborn, and then there's like people like on the other spectrum that whose kids are already adults, and then there's people in between that their kids are in like their 8, 9, 10, like teens now. So it's just kind of crazy just to see the full gambit.
I give props to Jonah Mitchell and shout out to Jonah Mitchell, like people who,
Yeah.
had kids young and like had to go. I was talking to my homeboy the other day and he was talking about how like girls who had kids would like go to alternative schools and stuff like that. And I'm like, I knew, I had a homegirl who went to Cedar Crest with me and then she had a kid and she just like did it to
No,
school.
stuck with it. She
Yeah,
didn't go
stuck
to
with
no other school. She
graduate.
stayed in school with us
Yeah,
the
and just
whole way. Yeah.
handled her business.
She was
Like
a G about it. Yeah.
give props to Jonah. Shout out to Jonah for
Yeah.
like handling her business, man. Because like he was telling
That
me he
whole
was
time.
yeah he was like in Tacoma, where he grew up. He was like a lot of girls would leave the school and go to alternative schools because they had like
Happens
programs.
all the time. Yep.
Yeah, but I was like, man, I knew a girl who
Who
didn't
stayed?
didn't leave. Was there the whole time and just held it down.
Do you have any favorites from high school? What's your favorite memory from high school? Or something easier. What was your favorite class in high school? And you can think about their favorite memory
I mean,
at the same time.
I like Jose's class. I remember. I don't know if you were in this class, but or I know
I was
Robert was.
not.
I think Jay was in that class, but like I remember Devin Spencer. I think Mickey was in that class. I remember like
Hey,
that.
I mean, I feel like I can admit it now, but I was in line to sign up for his class. So, back in the day, we had to stand in line of the teacher that whose class you wanted to sign up for. I was
Yeah,
in Jose's line, and
yeah.
then
It filled
Coach
up.
Wright, no, Coach Wright sees me and he's like, "What period?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll take third period or whatever." And then
Oh,
like I
wow.
didn't even get a chance to like
He's like, you
go
were
up
me.
on yeah, I was like, and being he was my position coach, it
Yeah,
was football season, it was just like, oh, I was like, man, I just don't feel like saying no to him right now. And so
that
I love Coach Wright though. Like, I love being around him.
everybody was in that class with Jose. It was so dope. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
Well,
think I
I
think
don't know if you
there might have been in there. I can't remember, but I remember Devin. I remember Mickey. Or I think Robert was in that class. Jay Thomas might have been in that class.
I think Tim was in that class.
Yeah, it was. It was.
Cause do you remember we did that Lifesavers commercial and I
Yeah,
wasn't even in Joset's class. And then we stayed up till like me, you and Tim stayed up till like 12, 1. Yeah, at my house. Stayed up till like 12 or 1 doing not even that wasn't even the project. The project was supposed to be like something from World War II or something like that. And then the
he was
project
a
was
history teacher or something, right?
yeah, he was a US history teacher. Well, they both were. Joseph and right.
Right.
Yeah, right. He was U.S. history too. Like my class had I had Josh O'Brien, I had Daniel Chave, I had
Jason O'Brien or Josh?
Josh. I had
Oh,
Josh. Josh was
wow.
in my class. Yeah, because it was funny because we were talking football basically the whole and like Mr. Wright's teaching style wasn't as fun as Jose's teaching style. It was real like by the book, like literally we just kind of we read a lot, and so it wasn't as interactive as Jose's class. So that's why it's funny that I ended up being a part of what I don't know if that project was for you or Tim or if you guys were on the same thing, but I do remember being like a part of that. And it's funny because the damn commercial took us like an hour to like record over and over. And it was like 5% of the total project had to do with like being on the radio during World War II or something like that. And we spent so much time on the least,
On the song.
yeah, on the song that
We
had,
were choir students.
yeah, we just wanted it to be perfect. We wanted it to
Yeah,
sound so good. And so it's so
yeah.
funny how like, yeah, it's just fun. Which brings up, I feel like I'm in that same creativity mode again now with starting this YouTube channel, starting this, being the first episode of this podcast. But I also want to highlight your YouTube channel. And can you give us a little bit about what your YouTube channel is about, how people can find you and stuff like that? Because I feel like we're back in high school where now we're doing all these creative stuff. And so I'm actually excited to hit Tim up to help me out with some of this stuff and like maybe do a couple Shane commercial type commercials for my channel and stuff like that. And so, but yeah, can you go ahead and kind of talk
Yeah,
about your channel,
well,
where people
shout
can
out,
find you?
shout out for you to you for telling me about like just about how people our age don't really, you know, get on YouTube or make any videos like or anything like that. When FYI, I put these glasses on just because it's getting late where I'm at. You're our time zone's a little different, so it's getting late here.
Yeah.
Bright
Yeah.
light eyes, so
Shout out to James being up. It's almost 1 a.m. while we're recording
is
this.
it?
For me, it's not even 10 o'clock yet, 10 p.m. So it's still early for me.
But
Yeah.
yeah, no, like really, I go to a lot of basketball games. Like, I'm real big into high school basketball, so I go to like a lot of, you know, Lincoln, Spanaway Stadium, Mount Tahoma. I'll be going to North Bend watching Mount Side. I go to the Hood Classic and watch Rainier Beach and Garfield. I'll be all over Olympia watching, all the best talent. Like I remember me and Greg, we went and watched Jamal Crawford win state in 1998. So that was kind of like the beginning,
Wow.
like our senior year. I remember Jamal Crawford winning state, and then I kind of just stopped watching hoop because like I said, I started hustling and stuff. But then like somewhere along the way, I came back to hoop, watching a lot of high school hoop because I see so many, the top
Games.
of the state.
Yeah.
Not only the players
Players.
but the players, like all the top players who people don't see. I'll, my channel is basically like just profiling the top players in the state of Washington.
Site.
And my brother Andre Jackson, his nick,
RIP.
yeah, R.I.P. Brother Andre, his nickname was Spanaway Dre. So I took on the name
That's
Span,
tight.
and then my YouTube channel is Spanaway J, and it's
One
mainly just,
word.
yeah, one word, Spanaway J, just the letter J, Spanaway J, and it's mainly just like profiling just the top basketball players in the state because basketball was always my first love. So I'm just kind of getting back to that. I got little boys coming up, so I'm just heavy into basketball right now. So a lot of posts is like profiling just the best players in the state.
Okay, we're going into tournament season where district state comes up, right? And the dome is where most a lot of the final events are. What's going to happen to the channel after like a lot of these tournaments are over with? When basketball season is over, what's going to happen to the channel?
Yeah, I mean, it'll basically be like I do some stuff. I'll post some stuff for like, educational type stuff with my son. Like he's learning how to read, so I might, make some videos of me teaching him how to read. Like I might do some educational stuff or like basically stuff that pertains to my life. So like the things that
Vlogging, vlogging. I'm sure you'll
vlogging,
do some vlogs
yeah,
where you're
vlogging,
just day in the life or
yeah,
day in the life of a dad with three
yeah,
boys that are,
yeah.
you know,
If something
day in the
crazy is
life of a taxi driver.
yeah, for real. If something crazy is going on, she might see that. If I'm training my son, like I might do a training session. We might do some reading. Might do some like just me and my wife, Kat, just talking about just different topics. So when basketball's not going on, it's just gonna be just everyday life that's going on that people probably can relate to. You know, stuff like that.
Dope. Dope. I'm excited. If you ever need ideas, I got ideas for days because I'm kind of semi obsessed with YouTube right now. And so just to get back, okay, do you have any favorite memories from high school?
Yeah, I mean, favorite memories. I mean, like I said, I was in choir in junior high and in high school. So like, like you said, favorite teachers would be like Hoseth, and then even like Mr. Kraus. Like Mr. Kraus taught me a lot of stuff. But he's a teacher that I was like around a lot because I had choir with him, music company with him. So he taught me a lot of different stuff.
So, music company, explain what music company is.
Yeah, I mean, music company was just like a select choir. So you had like your normal choir. Um, that which would be one of your everyday periods. And you have music company, which was like basketball or football. It was it was a after school class that we would go to, and you just learn. We go sing. I mean, we sang the Star Spangled Banner at the Mariners game once. We sang Disneyland one time. It was just
Wow.
like
Yep.
a upper echelon,
Yeah.
you know, choir class, and we go around different places singing.
And you were
So
in that all 3 years of high school?
yep, yep. Me and Jonah Mitchell were selected out of Cedar Crest. So right
Nice.
when we went 10th grade, we were. I remember 10th grade. I was in there with Cecilia Thomas,
Nice.
um, Karen Fushi, you know, uh, and then Jason Rice, Tim Sibley.
Oh, yeah,
So
that's
yeah,
right. I didn't
yeah, I
join
was in that.
until I wasn't in there with, I mean, I know those people, but I wasn't in that. I
Yeah,
didn't
you
make
came
music
here.
company until I was a senior. I made it my senior year and I was like, oh, so this is what music company is like. But I do remember Mr. Kraus and Roback they had to, because I basically wasn't part of music company that whole first during football season because we couldn't move, I couldn't miss football practices. So that was like
Yeah,
that took the
you don't play.
precedence. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So, and it was senior year too. So it was like I got a lot of playing time that during that time. So it was just funny because I'm surprised Mr. Kraus allowed me to stay in music company for the rest of the year. Cause once football season was done, man, I was in, I was because music company happened right after school. It was
yeah.
that
It
extra
was
period.
I mean, there were like 7 periods. It was like 8 periods.
Yeah, exactly. And so,
But
yeah, you had
I
to
was so checked
choose.
out.
How
So
did
checked
you,
out my senior.
I was gonna say, how did that work with basketball? So were you not there for basketball, like during basketball season? I'm trying to
Yeah,
remember.
yeah.
Same thing.
Well, I mean, maybe yeah, same thing, or maybe if like basketball practice was later, like 5 or 7, so 5 o'clock or something, I might go to music company and
Music
then go to
company
basketball
first.
practice
Oh,
after.
gotcha.
Yeah, or if I had basketball practice, I would miss music company practice. But I just remember like because like seventh said when I was my senior year, I got my own apartment,
Oh, that's right. That's right. Because
so
I remember
that's when
doing yeah, that's
yeah, I
right.
remember like I remember so my senior year, I started coming to school late. Because I
That's
had my
right.
own apartment. I'll be stand up. People be coming through, stand up late. Like I'll
Yes,
be
I do
waking up.
remember. Yeah, we would do projects at your house too. Yeah, that was like another like a place to do last minute projects where you could be there at till 1, 2 a.m. It was your apartment. It
I'll
was
do
random.
whatever.
Yeah.
I remember Leroy coming through all the time. Yeah, that apartment just destroyed my senior year. I was just like, I
Yeah.
was so
It was
checked
hard to stay
out.
focused when you
It was
have
it
yeah,
was
when you
so
have
hard
that
to do
much
music because I mean it
freedom.
was hard. Yeah, man, it was hard to do high school. It was hard to do music company. I never had that much freedom. Like, luckily, I was always such a good kid that by the time I hit my senior year and I started like falling off, I had so much equity. Like, my grades were good. Like I mean, my senior
Yeah.
year was horrible, and I still was like had that equity built up to where I could pass all, graduate and everything on time. But my senior year was rough. I was just like,
Okay, just before we wrap things up, I also like to remind people that I have a newsletter where I talk about books. I read a book every 1 or 2 weeks, and then I write a 1 minute email about it. You can sign up for that in the description. And I also sell life insurance. So if you have questions about life insurance, I am licensed in the states of Washington, Texas, Arizona, and Virginia. So if you have any questions about life insurance, I will be glad to help you out for free. So I've had this segment. It's called I'll kind of try to end most of these episodes with, I call this the SwaySide 6, or where I just ask you these last 6 questions. And how's that sound?
Yeah,
What's
let's
that?
do it.
Let's do
I
it.
said rapid fire.
Okay. Yeah, nice. Well, these are all like 2-part questions though too. So it's like, what was your favorite song, group, or music back then when during high school, and then what is it now?
Yeah, I mean, I remember like Tupac being big, because he
He
died
was
in
big.
'96. So I remember
Yep.
Tupac coming in, and I was like, I
He
love
died.
Tupac.
He died right before we played Lakes, and then we got smashed by Lakes. He died September 13, 1996, and like we played Lakes, and I remember we arrived to the stadium, and then Simba stands up on the bus and is like, "Man, Tupac just died," and I was like, "Man, how are we
How did
supposed to
he
play
know
the
that?
game now?" He was listening on the radio. He was listening to like Cube, I think, and I think they announced it. All, and he was listening to a Walkman, and then it was just like, man, that's just a random thing for you to say before we play this game. And then we got smacked by Lakes. We got smacked 63-14. And then I was just like,
Was that the Drew Miller game
yes, yeah,
when he
you
threw
can
all those
look it up.
touchdowns?
8. He threw 8 touchdowns that day. Yeah, it was crazy. And it was just like, damn, that was just that day sucked. That because it
Yeah,
was like Tupac died that day and we got smacked, and it was just like, man, it was just terrible. It was our first game of the year too. So, but yeah. So you would you say Tupac was your favorite artist back then?
Tupac was like, I mean, I was like kind of just getting into like Tupac. I love Tupac, but like I said, I was choir, so I was always like that Boyz II Men Jodeci. Like that was my
That's true. Yeah.
that Diary of a Madman, that Jodeci,
Yep. That
and
album.
then
Yep.
yeah, Diary of a Madman. That was I used to listen to that a lot, and then Boyz II Men. But like now, I mean, I got like I said, I got 3 boys. Like I don't listen to
I
a lot of
know.
music that
That's so funny.
cussing.
I'm kind of the same way.
Like I mean, I listen to like my nostalgia music. Like I might listen to some Snoop or some Jay-Z or some Ice Cube, some old school stuff that I grew up on. But if it ain't old school, I pretty much don't even listen to like a lot of
I
new
think
music.
that's I think that's going to be the answer for most of these questions when it comes to music. Is like, oh, I don't really listen to anything new. I basically listen to all the stuff that I liked back then,
Right. Yeah. Yep.
because like I'd rather listen to podcasts now, or yeah, I don't even really, or even audiobooks. I don't really even listen to music like that. But if I were to listen to music, it would be music from back then. So, yeah. Okay. Let's go with food. Do you have a favorite food from when you were in high school? And then do you have a favorite food now?
Well, from in high school, like I just ate whatever fast food or whatever. But I remember when I started
Yeah. Did you have
working
a
at
favorite fast
Anthony.
food back then?
I mean,
Let's try to
honestly,
keep
maybe
it high
like
school.
Jack Box. Yeah, probably
Yeah. So
Jack in the
Jax
Box.
was
Or
those two.
yeah,
Those were the two. Like everybody went to Spanaway, Jack in the Box, or Spanaway McDonald's. Was like the two spots that you would see people
McDonald's or
all the
Taco
time.
Bell.
So if you had to pick between those two, yeah, Taco Bell too. But I feel like nah, you would like literally you would see everybody after a football game at McDonald's or Jack in the Box, Jack in the Box parking lot or McDonald's.
Yeah, they had
So
the big. Yep, yep. But like, so I started
yeah,
working
like what?
at Anthony's, and that's when my whole palate changed. I started eating steaks because I would get everything on discount. If you work there, you got like 50% off. So that's when I started like London broils and steaks and
Snap, like that good,
yes,
like actual real food. Damn, yeah.
it. So like now, my favorite food now is definitely seafood, like halibut, scallops,
Oh
salmon.
wow.
Yeah, crab dip, like that Anthony's crab dip. Like my palate
Hits.
changed a lot once I started working at Anthony's. But I
That's
love
dope.
seafood,
That's dope.
scallops.
So, like, what would you say would be your favorite then out of the
Favorite food,
seafoods then?
yeah, probably scallops. crab and scallops,
Scallops are
crab
bomb,
dip.
man.
Yeah, I love scallops.
That's dope. Okay, how about movies? Number three, movies. What was your favorite movie back then in high school? And then is it the same now, or do you have any favorites since then?
Yeah, movies back then.
I
You
know
know,
it's kind of hard to like
Friday's a
recall.
classic. What year did Friday come out?
Yeah, we were freshmen, or sorry,
Really?
we were sophomores. We when that movie came out, we were sophomores. So I think it came out in 96, 95, maybe either late 95 or 96. We were just because, man, everybody quoted that movie at school. It was one of those quotable movies where everybody talked about it all the time. It was like if you didn't quote that movie or seen it, it's like, where have you been?
Yeah, yeah. That's crazy. It came out in '95 because I really don't remember
Yep.
watching it like that per se. But yeah, I guess yeah, that was the time, like a Friday, and then like today, man, like pretty much, Denzel Washington's that dude. Like, I
Yeah,
like
he has
Denzel.
so many hitters.
Yeah, I like watching Denzel movies. Like a little Spike Lee joint, little Spike Lee slash Denzel. They got a lot of movies together. So, plus, I mean, like movies like Departed. That's a classic. Remember, Departed with
Loved it.
yeah, that's a classic.
Dope. Do
And
you
but
have a
really,
favorite?
now it's all
Yeah.
about streaming is everything now. Netflix, like
Yeah.
it's man.
It's funny because just randomly today, I just watched a movie from '97, Nothing to Lose. It's kind of a random movie. It had Tim Robbins and Martin Lawrence in it, and
Oh,
it's such a random movie. It's definitely one of those movies that in the '90s, it would have been one of those movies you rented for sure, and it would have been great. It's a great rental
I
movie.
remember Nothing to Lose, Blue Street,
I like Blue Street too. I
everything.
mean,
Martin.
everything, yeah. Black Knight. Black Knight was another one of my favorites, or
Who's
with
in that?
Martin. Martin, where he goes back in time. He
Everyone saw that. I know what it's about, but yeah, I don't know if I
You
ever saw.
never saw that?
I might have probably seen it one time, but it just seemed a little corny. Him going back in time.
It's so corny. It's so corny. It's the worst corny, but it's like right at the end of like these corniness, like early
Yeah,
thousands. It was one of those, and there's a scene in there where he goes back in time into like medieval England, and like Martin makes fun of this dude, and then the dude this is the only line I remember from the movie where he's like, "Do you mock me more?" Like just that line alone is cracks me up every time I see it. So it's just like
you, you,
you got to check that one out. You got to check that one out. Okay, you know what?
that's it. You know what's a good one? You got
Which
to
one?
have people. You got to have people go into their I move like your Apple, Apple Music and stuff. Go into your Apple movies and see what you got in there. That's how you really know. Go to your purchase. Let me see. Okay, so these are
For flights, those are, man, those I look at those as like movies that you get before flying. So
yeah.
like whatever
Look
you
like
have in there,
like
I can't see it. So
remember Action
which one?
Jackson?
Oh
Action.
yeah, 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 yeah.
I got any
Yeah,
given
he was
Sunday
dope. That's another good one
coming to
where
America.
Jamie Foxx and L Cool J almost got into it, and
Oh yeah,
Jamie Foxx talks it about that in his comedy special, I Might Need Security, where he was like, and
Harlem Night.
he hit me. Yeah,
Yeah,
Harlem Nights is another good
Harlem,
one too. Yeah, man, it has all the legends. It has Pryor, Murphy.
The Last Dragon,
Oh yeah, Bruce Leroy.
Life with Eddie and Martin. Life,
Oh yeah, that's a good one. It's not at the top of my list for both of those guys, but
Life,
it's solid.
Life is hilarious. Yeah, those are some of my classics. What's your next question?
Hobby. What was your favorite hobby what was your favorite hobby in high school, and then what's your favorite hobby now?
Still today, basketball back then, basketball today. I'm 44. I still play basketball probably like
You
two,
wouldn't say
three, four
golf
times a
to
week.
overtook? You wouldn't say golf overtook it now? Because I feel like you golf a lot. No?
No, honestly, I play more pickleball down than golf, but basketball
Oh,
still,
really?
yeah, basketball
Dang,
still my
everybody's in that pickleball. Okay, what made you happy back then? Like, like what made you happy back then, and like it could be anything that you just mentioned, or and then what makes you happy now. And then there's one more question after that.
That was my hustling days. So like back then, man, it was all about money. Like,
Yeah,
like my senior year, I had my own spot. That's when I started
yeah,
hustling. And like back then it was just money. And then, obviously now with having a family, like now my happiness is just making sure my kids are good.
that's dope.
That's what
That's
it's tied.
dope. And then last question, and we'll wrap this all up, tie it all up with a bow. If you could go back in time and talk to yourself on that day we graduated, what would you say to that person? Well, yeah, what would you say?
Yeah, I would have definitely left the game alone. Like I remember you,
You would have
Daniel,
told him. It's like
Goodall,
it's
no.
the conversation. Yeah.
Yeah, I would have been like, go to college, like, find a trade, do something. Because like I mean, I wasted so many years in the streets basically after high school. So like I would have, if I could have went, I would have just stayed on the straight and narrow. You know what I mean? Like I kind of veered off, went into the game, the life, where end up getting in trouble and stuff like that. Like if I could go back and talk to myself, I would be like, "Hey, go with Heinz, go with Jay, go with Daniel, go with Goodall, go with Ralph Weddle. Like going to college and like I mean, I ended up getting my business degree from UW in 2018. But if I could have did that in like 2002, if I could have did that in 2002, like I literally wasted like 16
Yeah.
years. You know what I mean? Like
I also think that you learned a lot of skills while you were hustling too
I
though.
did,
So
I
like
did,
I think you learned a lot of just about in life general. But yeah, I mean,
I did, but I
I
still feel
think
like
it's
to learn those lessons going like the legal route. I still could have learned them, and I would be like,
so if you were to talk to yours, yeah.
yeah, I would have been like,
So you would say get
leave
out.
this
You would be
alone.
like just get out. Get out
Yeah,
now. Yeah,
because
leave it alone.
I ended up getting out anyway. So it's like I would have just
Yeah, it's
not,
true.
I would have not like it's like I would have just never touched the stove in the first place.
Mm,
You
it's
know?
hard though, man. I get it. It's hard. That first taste, so young, it's like it's I could see the appeal, so and I was never one to judge, but
Yeah.
man, thank you. Thank you for sharing all that with us and joining the first episode of the SwaySide Connection. And I think we'll leave it there. And hopefully, you guys see us on the next episode. If there was somebody that you can like, this is your idea. If there was somebody you wanted me to interview, yeah, I think the other way to me. Yeah, yeah, like that. There it is. The S. Throw that S up. If there was somebody, I think you're the one that brought this question up. You were like, if you wanted me to interview somebody next from Spanaway, who would that be?
I would
And I'll see
say,
if I could try to make that wish come true. If not, I have some other backups. Because, like I said, I feel like some people will say no. But go ahead, hit
it would
me.
be interesting to see if this person says, I would say Brianne Heller.
Oh, dang! You want to go straight to Bree? I was gonna save her for later, but damn, yeah, I can hit her up and see. She is somebody for sure that I know that has that can fact check the funniest person senior year, because just 16 months ago I was at her house looking at her yearbook, so I know for sure she has them. So maybe that might be something we
Yeah.
can do. So yeah, I'll hit her up and see if she's down. So thank you for joining us and have a great day.
All right. Thank you.